with the license issuer said that we can apply for the license based one of our subdomains. So as you would have seen with BetU Fantasy, where it's play.betufantasy.com, we'll set up the subdomain bet.betu.io, and that's where we'll apply for the license for. Previously, they'd said we needed to shut off the entire website, which is not something we actually wanted to do because that's where all the traffic goes and that's where people go. Leo, stop scaring the dog. Sorry. And so that's really positive stuff. So I'd expect we'll submit the license application some stage next week. And then all going well, I'd estimate that somewhere between the 10th and the 13th, we should have approval to move forward, which I think, obviously, I know some people were hanging out for that. It's never been a concern for us in terms of what we wanted to do. We still want to focus on fantasy in the immediate time, and then we'll roll out the gaming platform sometime after we get the approval. We're learning so much from the fantasy in terms of users coming on, things such as like promotions we're doing, like how to identify users from the different emails and IPs, devices, etc., which will help us with the promotion. In terms of the betting infrastructure, obviously it's our first integration with Sport Radar and Bet Radar, so we can improve on that. We've had a few hiccups with BetU Fantasy, where I'm not sure if anyone's noticed, but every now and again we're getting some errors with different markets. So we're always learning, and it's such a perfect application for us to learn from the game and then roll that into the real betting platform. And I understand a lot of people were hanging out for the license, so it'd just be great to have that ready. And there's also one exchange which I'm confident will get listed on, and they've requested that we need to provide them with the license. So again, it'll be great for that, just to get that done. And then we'll just launch whenever we decide after that. We won't launch straight away as soon as we get the license, because as I said, we're still making a lot of improvements with the BetU Fantasy platform, and we'll roll them into the to the real platform. But once we have the license, obviously we can launch whenever we want to following that. Staking will kick off in the next few days. So there'll be approximately 25% APY, and we've partnered with Beefy Finance to do that. So they've already done all the smart contracts and things. So we're getting on a call with them shortly after this to finalize the exact day, but expect that in the next few days. So you'll be able to stake your BetU tokens. We're not going to have limits on how much you can stake. It'll be available to everyone, but we expect approximately 25% APY, and it'll vary a little bit because it's sort of like a pool structure where you'll deposit depending on how many people put BetU in. Will depend on the exact APY, but the goal is about 25%. Marketing strategy. After we've had obviously 3 weeks to test the platform, play around, improve it, we're going to make some changes. Actually, I'll go through the changes first before I get onto the marketing strategy. So as of next week, so this week is normal as it was the last couple of weeks. We need to encourage people to join Division 1. We've had some good numbers through Division 2, and we need to get a lot more people joining Division 1. So as of next week, we'll roll out a referral program where people get 100 BetU tokens for referring a friend who joins Division 1, and the friend will also get 100 BetU tokens. The condition is you need to play for 2 consecutive weeks in Division 1. So we encourage everyone to invite anyone they know to get involved. We'll also launch NBA next week, which will be awesome. So we'll have 2 different leagues. What we're going to do, though, is a change. We haven't got an exact date yet, but we're going to, instead of just doing English Premier League, we're going to combine it to, say, European Football League, where it would be Spanish, Italian, French, EPL, and any others we decide. That will all be in the one league. So we'll be able to obviously target other audiences. In the future, we can break that out into separate leagues, but at the minute, in terms of rewards and the amount of people we've got playing, it'll make a lot more sense to just have one league with all, and so it's just one soccer or a European Football League, however you want to call it, whatever you want to call it. And we'll have the same leaderboards and everything, but it's just more games that you'll be able to put your fantasy bets on and play. We're going to change it so each day you log in that you will get extra fantasy points to encourage people to use it every day as such. So you'll be able to get extra. If you log in each day, you'll get some extra bonus points. And then you'll have an advantage over the people that just say logged in once and put on the bets. What we're also going to do is, at the minute, how it's set up is where you put your bets on and then at the end of the week you get your points. What we're going to do is change it to an accumulative measure. So basically, if you put a fantasy bet on and it wins, you'll get that paid out straight away. And then you can use the fantasy coins that you won on another bet moving forward. So you can accumulate over the weekend and decide if you want to do more. And obviously you could check the leaderboard and say, oh, this guy's ahead of me. I need to put another one on if I want to finish in first place or 10th place or whatever you're going for. Or you could just hold the position you're at and say, oh, I'm finishing in 10th spot or 50th spot, whatever you feel comfortable with. I don't want to risk any of your fantasy coins, and do it like that. Obviously, as you all know, there is no real gambling, so you're not actually risking any of your BetU tokens, but just in terms of your spot on the leaderboard. Which brings me to the marketing strategy and what we're going to go moving forward. As I mentioned before, we reached out to a lot of different airdrop communities to grow a base of players, which we've done. We need to start getting Division 1 players, because they're the people that are going to buy up the token and they get 3 times the rewards. At the minute, it's there's more rewards being given out than actual players. So I'd encourage everyone to get involved in Division 1, because as long as you have some points at the end of the week, you're going to get a prize. We're going to start working with some world-class streamers. So I met with an agency today, Upload Agency in the UK. If you feel like checking them out, you can see some of the talent that they've got that ranges from, the top of the food chain in terms of YouTube, where you've got 15 million followers, down to a few 100,000 followers. So I discussed with them what we want to do. We're going to get a handful of their talent who are already into, say, FIFA or football already, which is most of their audience anyway, and they're going to do live streams of them playing BetU Fantasy. So I expect us to reach millions of people every week based off that. I shouldn't say millions of reach, because it depends on each view, but in terms of followers, millions. In terms of actual views that we would get from the streamers, I would say we'd be looking at least probably 1 million per week. And they'll be playing the game, so they'll be in Division 1, they'll be playing a game, and we're going to actually work on setting up individual leagues. So and anyone could do the same thing. If they were in Division 1, you could set up your own private league. So if you want to set up a league just with your mates or just with your workforce or whatever you want, it's a different family, it doesn't matter. You could set up your own private league. We won't offer rewards for all the private leagues, but just as like a debatable thing between your friends to show who's better at tipping and that sort of thing, you'll be able to set up your private league. But I think it'll be a really powerful thing for the big influencers, because we'll offer rewards if they get X amount of people who are playing Division 1. So if we go to a streamer who's got 5 million followers, and if he gets 1,000 people playing Division 1, then we will offer rewards for his specific league, and we'd offer that for everyone else as well. Obviously, I just can't expect the average person to bring in, hundreds or thousands of people to play the game, but you'll still be able to have it as between your friends. So that's basically an update of what I wanted to give. The licensing, awesome news. Staking's coming out, which is just great, because I know some people were hanging out for that as well. And it's something we wanted to roll out. We didn't want to do it ourselves. We wanted to actually partner with someone. Beefy's a really good candidate for that. Then the fantasy changes will come in the next couple of weeks. Next week, we'll have the referral and the NBA. And then we'll be making the changes over the coming weeks based off the feedback we've got. So appreciate everyone who gives us the feedback, everyone who's playing. It all helps, and we're going to keep improving. So I'll open up to any questions you have. Just put your hand up. Sorry for the dog going bananas. But